Snow Day Rapid Reactions edition, as it is snowy outside, but the Tar Heels put up some hot action in the Smith Center on Wednesday night, defeating NC State 97-73. The Heels led by 28 at halftime, led by as many as 30, and just kind of cruise control their way to this 24-point win over the Pack. Jones and Adam here with you. And Adam, the story of this game was written in the first half. Carolina led by 28 at the break, and I thought played some of its best basketball of the season in that first half. Like if you had told Hubert Davis at the beginning of this season, like, walk me through a perfect half for you, Carolina did this. It hit shots. It was making some threes. It hit 7 threes in the first half. Got a lot of layups. Was really rebounding at a high level. Got 17 second chance points in the first half. They were perfect at the free throw line. They turned State over 9 times. I mean, they did so many things well that State really was out of the game by the break.
We've talked several times about wanting to see Carolina really beat an opponent rather than just kind of going back and forth and trading points with them. That's what the Tar Heels did tonight. They beat State, honestly beat them so badly in the first half that the second half was kind of just window dressing.
It was immaterial.
Now, the Tar Heels also kind of treated it that way, but they had played so well in the first half that it made it pretty obvious that State didn't want any of that, and the Tar Heels had done so many things correctly already.
I thought Carolina's defense in the first half was really one of the differences in this game. You know, State turned it over 9 times in the first half. They only averaged 9 per game, and Carolina was forcing a lot of those turnovers. And from the very first possession, Carolina, State ended up with a backcourt violation because they had a pass that bounced off their foot and went into the backcourt. And while it wasn't like 100% forced, the pressure that Carolina was applying helped it be a turnover, and it just felt like Carolina's effort and energy defensively was a difference.
Hubert Davis and Seth Trimble are both going to talk about that. The full court pressure was very good, but it wasn't just that. That created some noticeable turnovers that led to some points. But it was also, as you said, the defense in the half court and the willingness just to be up in someone's space and not let it be easy for them is something we haven't always seen with this year's team, but we saw it tonight, and it was really good.
Couple of quick individuals. RJ Davis, 21 points tonight. He also had 5 assists and just 1 turnover. RJ didn't shoot it as well as he can. He was 6 of 18 and 1 of 8 from 3. Obviously not great numbers from behind the arc, where the rest of the team was 7 of 12. But what he did do is he moved into 4th place all time in ACC scoring. I mean, he passed Rodney Monroe of NC State and Johnny Dawkins of Duke. I mean, those are 2 legendary ACC players, and we knew RJ was going to continue to move up these lists, but thought that was cool that he was able to make that move tonight. And you see there the 1 3-pointer that he hit early, but it was more his drives to the basket tonight where he was getting a lot of his points.
It's a luxury to have a guy who scores 21 points and you kind of walk away thinking, well, he wasn't great. He was plenty good enough. Also had those 5 assists and a couple of steals, so it wasn't like it was just an offensive night. He was doing a little bit of everything and creating some opportunities for his teammates.
And then, I thought Vin-Allen Lubin was impactful in this game, particularly in the second half. In fact, all his scoring, he had 13 points all in the second half. And, State was changing the way they were playing defense, just trying to slow Carolina down some. And that was allowing Lubin to get in that pick and roll a lot. And he finished. Something he's done well from the start this year is finish. And he did that whole second half.
When Lubin, part of this 2-big lineup that the Tar Heels have gone with a little more frequently the last week or 2. And honestly, it looks really good right now. I mean, Carolina's playing a different level of competition right now, but that's a group that seems to enable the Tar Heels to do some things that make them better, including put Drake Powell at the 3, where he was impactful tonight, both offensively and defensively. And when you have a guy who's shooting 70% from the floor, you like it when he takes advantage of his opportunities, but you shoot 70% when almost all you do is dunk it, which is fine. I support that.
All right, let's get to our interviews. Adam talked to Seth Trimble. We hadn't even mentioned Seth. 15 points, 7 rebounds. Again, Carolina's leading rebounder tonight for Seth Trimble. Came off the bench tonight, too. Didn't start, but was still really impactful in the 25 and a half minutes that he played. So Adam talked to Seth. I talked to Coach Davis afterwards as well. So first you'll see Coach Davis, then Seth Trimble, and then we'll come back to wrap things up. Heels win big tonight over State, 97-73, here on the Rapid Reactions edition of the Carolina Insider, presented by Modelo. Carolina wins it 97-73 over NC State tonight in the Smith Center. Tar Heels led by 28 at halftime by as many as 30 and end up winning it by 24. And I'm inside the Continental Tire Coach's Corner alongside the happy head coach of the Tar Heels, Hubert Davis. And gosh, Coach, those first 20 minutes in particular, certainly the whole game, but those first 20 minutes felt like some of the best basketball that your team has played this year. What led to that really quality play?
I would say it was just, on both ends of the floor. First, defensively, I thought we were, our physicality on the ball. I thought we were active defensively. We were boxing out. We were contesting shots. We were getting loose balls. Offensive rebounds against us in the first matchup. It was like, it can't happen tonight. We have to put a body on them, and we have to get the rebound. And once we got the rebound, we knew that we would have an advantage in transition, and that's what happened. And that's been for us all year. Like, we've been consistently great in transition. But in order to get there, you have to get stops, and you got to rebound, and we did that. And the whole energy level, and then our press, we started pressing and creating turnovers, and the crowd was just amazing. It's, the weather out there is rough, and for us to have 15,000 fans there, it's just, I really wanted to thank them. They made a difference, and the players have said that to me after the game. They were like, that crowd was different. It made a difference, and it's so nice. Many reasons why I love the Smith Center, because the students could get here. They can just come down the hill and come to the game and support their fellow classmates. And so it was a really great night.
It just felt like, what in your mind defensively, what was the difference? Was it just effort? What was working defensively there in the first half that really made everything so hard for NC State?
Yeah, on ball screens, we just did a really good job of making them make connected to shooters. We didn't give the rollers a clean lane to get to the basket. We really forced them into tough contested mid-range shots, which very difficult to make. And once we were able to get the rebound, then everybody was running. We were getting out in transition, and but I thought defensively we did a really good job. And then when we pressed, I thought we just kept creating turnovers, and that was just ignited us. And just we played really well.
How do you decide when to press? Is that just a field thing for you? They had 10 turnovers in this game, and at least 3 of them came off your press.
Yeah, there's a specific time that I like to press, and then tonight I tried something new, when to press. And so I kind of liked it. And so we'll look into it and see if we can, change it, tweak it, expand it even more. But I thought we did a really good job extending our pressure full court and be able to, whether it turned it over, you talked about the 3 turnovers off the press, but it doesn't even count the times that we sped them up and they took shots, and then we were able to get the rebound, and then we were able to go in transition.
Coach, a lot of individuals we could talk about. I just wanted to mention Vin Lubin. He had 13 points all in the second half. He was really active. State seemed to change the way they were defending you a little bit in that second half, and he was able to really take advantage.
Yeah, coming off ball screens, they were basically blitzing, putting 2 on the ball, and I thought Vin did a really good job of rolling through the lane, and our guards did a nice job getting the ball out of their hands, and we were able to find them around the basket. And more importantly, what he did around the basket, he finished with a dunk, and finished strong. And so I was really proud of the effort he had in the second half.
If I could tell you how many times in practice Coach Davis yells "dunk it," even if there's no hope for somebody dunking it. So I know you love that.
I know, because if I was as athletic as them, I told Seth in one of the timeouts when he went down the lane and did this, I was like, just dunk it. I was like, I don't even care if you miss it. Just dunk it, you know. So there's some tall, athletic guys out there. You got to, when you get in the lane, you got to dunk it.
Tar Heels had a lot of dunks and a lot of positive things all the way around tonight as they beat State 97-73. Coach, congratulations on the win, and I look forward to seeing you. Hopefully not quite as much snow outside on Saturday against Virginia.
Okay, thank you. You be safe, okay?
You too, and if you're listening, be safe. Take it slow on the way home. But right now I'll send it back to Dave. Carolina wins it by 24. That's Coach Davis in the Continental Tire Coach's Corner.
Alongside Seth Trimble after Carolina blows out NC State 97-73. Seth, that first half, Carolina was really good. What was the key in those first 20 minutes?
Just the energy that we played with. That was probably the most fun I've had in a half in the 3 years I've been here. And the energy that each and every one of our teammates came with, myself included, was huge. And then the fans, that played such a huge part today. That was probably the most fun game, besides Duke at home last year. But that's up there for my top three in like the most fun environments I've ever played in. The students, just for them to come out during a snowstorm, I mean, it was incredible. It was a super fun time.
When did you first realize there was something building?
When we ran out for the second time, it wasn't packed, it wasn't deep or anything, but I saw students everywhere. And I told Russ, I'm like, I know it's not packed, but like this energy in here, like I'm really messing with it. And then I mean, from the second tip-off started, it was electric the whole game. So kudos to them.
Big part of that energy was the Carolina defense in that first half, put some pressure on them that they couldn't handle. Mm-hmm. What worked about that?
We were able to speed them up. Our diamond press worked. We got in gaps more, and we just picked up the pressure on our one-on-one matchups, and that was huge. When we put pressure on players, we're a much different team. You know, AC always tells us we have to be a team who lives in the trenches, and we have to get it done the dirty way. And I mean, we won that trenches battle tonight.
What enabled you to put that type of defensive pressure on to create the transition opportunities? Because Coach Davis has talked a lot about this team plays really well in transition. Haven't always been able to do that here the last month or so, but today you were even running after makes. Why was that?
I don't know. I think it was just a will and want to. I think we really focused on that all game. We wanted to be the faster team. We wanted to be a more physical team, and we wanted to be the team that gets more stops on the defensive end because we know once we get more stops, we're able to run, and we were just really successful at today. So I don't think it was anything, special that made it happen for us, but I think all 15 guys or however many is on the team just came together and said this is what we're going to do.
Let's talk about Seth Trimble, on pace to become the shortest Tar Heel leading rebounder since 1950. Again, Carolina's leading rebounder tonight. How are you doing it?
Just going to go get him. I have the gift. I have the ability to jump. I've been blessed with great genes, and I know that's something that's needed on this team. So whether that's on the offensive board or the defensive rebounds, I know, and the coaches want me just to be as physical as possible and as aggressive as possible to go get as many boards as I can. So it's kind of upset with myself. I really wanted to grab 10 today, but I didn't. But, I mean, just to have that mindset in my head, hey, I want to go grab 10, I want to go grab 15, and ended up with 11 or 8 or 7, whatever it is. I mean, it's a huge help for this team. So
what's stopping Carolina from being that same team every single night?
I think the biggest thing is us realizing that we can actually be that team, and I think today was a huge step. So maybe just as simple as it is, just the realization that, hey, we can actually do this. I think it might just be as simple as that.
Tar Heels did it tonight, beat NC State by 24 points. Carolina's back in the Smith Center on Saturday. Bring that same energy back to Chapel Hill on Saturday against Virginia. Seth, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So Carolina, for the second consecutive game, does not trail. Now, both Syracuse and NC State are below 500 teams, but the Tar Heels do not trail in either one of those games and get back-to-back wins. They'll be back in action on Saturday against a Virginia team that's playing better basketball. They had won 3 in a row before falling to Duke earlier this week, and then a quick turnaround to Florida State on Monday night. Adam, just one more thing, and then we'll be done. You mentioned Carolina playing a too big, and I mean it's mostly because Jalen Withers is starting and playing more and being impactful at the 4 position for Carolina. I think you've also seen RJ Davis play a little more point guard here in the last couple of games, where I think his assist turnover ratio the last 7 or 8 games is almost 4-1. So Carolina's massaging those rotations and personnel a little bit. And it seems to, for now, be working and having Carolina play a little bit better and it just seems to make the pieces fit in place better.
It feels like RJ Davis kind of brings the ceiling down when he's playing point guard on will there be a ton of spectacular plays. But he raises the floor on will there be some frustrating turnovers, which has been one of the biggest things holding this team back. If you just end the possession with a shot instead of turning it over, that's an improvement over some things that have happened recently. And you've got a fifth-year guy out there who is a savvy, mature veteran who knows the speed of the game and understands how to play it. And I think that's helped.
Gosh, Carolina shot 57% in this game tonight. It is not their best field goal percentage in a game. That was 59% against American, but that was very early in the year against an overmatched opponent. But the Heels shoot 57%. They hit almost 80% of their free throws. That's been an issue here recently. And go 8 of 20 from 3. And as I mentioned, that's even with RJ Davis having a tough night from behind the arc. Carolina dominates the glass. They dominate the paint. This was a one-sided affair tonight for Carolina. Adam, anything else?
That was an NCAA tournament team that we saw tonight. What's been holding this team back from being firmly in that discussion is being able to repeat that performance. So you've got to be able to do it again on Saturday.
Yep. The Heels weren't as good this past Saturday against Syracuse, but they did some good things. They were good tonight, and let's see if they can continue that, as Adam alluded to, against Virginia on Saturday. But for now, we'll say goodnight. Another Rapid Reactions edition of the Carolina Insider presented by Modelo.